All right, let's get right into it. I am so incredibly thrilled to have you here for this explainer. Today, we are tackling a topic that honestly, literally every single driver dreads, but absolutely needs to understand: surviving a roadside breakdown or an accident. We're going to empower you with the exact facts you need to take total control of what can otherwise be a really highly stressful situation. We're talking about your rights, the specific laws, the local ecosystem, and even the towing technology that could literally save your car from permanent damage. Okay, let's dive into this. Picture this for a second. You've just been in a fender bender. Your heart is racing, traffic is backing up behind you, and seemingly out of nowhere, a tow truck pulls up to the scene. The driver hops out, clipboard in hand. Do you actually have to use them right then and there? It's a totally universal roadside anxiety. But the answer, and this might actually surprise you, is often an emphatic no. So here is our roadmap for today. First, knowing your towing rights. Second, Victoria's strict towing laws. Third, a spotlight on Lara, Victoria. Fourth, the local towing ecosystem. And finally, the tilt tray advantage.
Section 1. Knowing your towing rights. Consumer Affairs Victoria Guidelines.
You know, when you're standing stranded on the side of the road, it really feels like you're completely at the mercy of whoever shows up first. But according to Consumer Affairs Victoria, the power dynamic is actually heavily in your favor. I want you to commit this to memory. You are not obliged to have your vehicle towed just because a truck arrives at the scene. You absolutely have the right to say no. Now, there is one major exception here, and that's the police. If your car is left where it might endanger other road users or it's blocking traffic, the police can absolutely require it to be towed. But barring a direct police order, you are still in the driver's seat, figuratively speaking.
So, the crucial point is, if you do actually need a tow, follow these 3 exact steps from Consumer Affairs Victoria to protect yourself. First up, read the contract carefully before you sign anything. Some of these contracts try to bind you to a specific smash repair. Second, you choose the destination. Having your car towed straight to your home instead of a random holding yard gives you the time to check with your insurance. It prevents that absolute nightmare scenario of a repair holding your car hostage until you pay exorbitant fees. And third, explicitly state that no repairs are authorized without your or your insurer's approval.
Section 2, Victoria's strict towing laws, behind the scenes of the towing industry. So, knowing your rights is really only half the battle here. To truly understand the landscape, we have to look behind the curtain at how the industry is actually regulated. Have you ever wondered why certain trucks show up in regions like Greater Melbourne or Geelong, while others don't? Well, it's because of the accident allocation system. This is a highly regulated framework. It basically means tow trucks can't just race each other to an accident scene to fight over your car. Accident towing is strictly controlled and dispatched, and that is entirely distinct from standard trade towing, like say if your car just breaks down in your own driveway. And what about the people actually driving those trucks? Well, they are heavily vetted. Transport Victoria mandates some incredibly strict requirements. Before a driver can even operate a licensed tow truck, they have to hold a full Victorian driver's license, complete specific required training, hold an accident tow truck driver accreditation, and importantly, they must pass a strict police check. That guarantees that the person helping you out on the side of a dark road is a certified, background-checked professional. Section 3. Spotlight on Lara, Victoria, the geographic battleground. Let's move to and see how this builds. We're going to shift from abstract laws to a tangible, real-world location. Lara, Victoria sits strategically right between Melbourne and Geelong, which makes it the perfect case study for us. Lara has a really rich history. It was originally occupied by the Wadawurrung people for tens of thousands of years before European arrival back in 1824. By 1857, the railway opened, making it a major transit corridor. Fast forward a bit to 1969, and Lara was actually the site of a devastating fast-moving bushfire that tragically trapped people right in their cars on the Princes Highway. This intense history really underscores just how absolutely vital safe, clear, and well-managed transit routes are in this specific area. Which brings us to an incredibly important number, 19,014. That was Lara's population as of the 2021 census. We are talking about a rapidly growing regional hub here, with nearly 20,000 residents, plus all of those commuters utilizing the Princes Freeway to travel between Geelong and Melbourne every single day. The sheer volume of traffic demands a highly responsive, localized towing infrastructure. Section 4. The local towing ecosystem. Businesses operating in Lara and Geelong. To service all of that daily traffic in and around Lara and Geelong, a highly competitive 24/7 rapid response industry has evolved. Local companies are essentially battling for dominance by offering specialized, round-the-clock emergency responses. Take Elite 24/7 Towing Geelong, for example. They cover a 50-kilometer radius and aim for a rapid 30-minute response time, and they've had their business registration active since 2016. Then you've got Lara Towing, which is also known as Geelong Truck. They hyper-focus on critical local arteries like the Bacchus Marsh Geelong Road, offering 24/7 emergency help. It's a whole ecosystem built entirely around getting to you fast.
And the standards required to actually survive in this ecosystem are incredibly high. For instance, Flexible Towing Service recently won a 2025 Quality Business Award as the leading towing company in Lara. To even be considered for something like that, a business needs a quality score of 95% or higher, which puts them literally in the top 1% of all Australian businesses. This proves that when you break down in this region, you're tapping into a local industry that is held to incredibly rigorous standards for reputation and customer satisfaction.
Section 5. The Tilt Tray Advantage, Modern Tech for Modern Cars. Now we reach the final and maybe most practical piece of our survival guide, the physical transport technology itself. Because knowing who to call really doesn't matter if the wrong truck shows up and damages your vehicle. And this brilliantly illustrates the difference. Traditional towing lifts just two wheels off the ground. That places massive stress on your suspension and drivetrain, and it risks scraping the underbody of your bumper. Tilt tray towing, however, means the entire tray angles down into a ramp, the car is winched up, and it sits completely flat. That means zero tire wear, no fishtailing on the highway, and total stability for your vehicle. Listen, if you drive an electric vehicle or a hybrid, this next point is absolutely critical. Modern EVs completely require tilt trays. Why? Well, they have incredibly heavy battery packs and very low ground clearance. Plus, towing an EV with its wheels on the ground can accidentally engage the regenerative braking system, which can cause catastrophic damage to the electric motor. In fact, most EV manufacturers will straight up void your warranty if you don't use a tilt tray. You literally must demand this tech. But as the nationwide group points out, tilt trays aren't just for accidents or EVs. Because the vehicle is completely carried rather than dragged behind, it is the premier, absolute safest way to move high-value cargo. Whether we're talking about a luxury sports car, a heavy piece of farm machinery, or a long interstate haul, tilt tray tech offers a level of versatility and damage prevention that traditional tow trucks simply cannot match. So, we've covered the whole roadmap today. You know that you are the one in charge of your vehicle, you know exactly how heavily vetted the drivers are, you understand the fiercely competitive local ecosystem that's ready to help you 24/7, and you know exactly why you should be asking for a tilt tray. So I want to leave you with this thought. Now that you're armed with all this knowledge, are you prepared to take control of your next roadside emergency? I really hope this explainer has given you the confidence to say a resounding yes. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and hey, stay safe out there on the roads.